Hello, everybody. This is the Yapo Sit Down and Start Talking podcast. I am here with Andrew.
Hello.
I'm Luna. And we're here with a very special guest, Sierra Blair.
How's it going?
Do you go by Coil as well?
No, just Sierra Blair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I was told that you dropped the C.
I did. We lost the C.
Okay. Noted.
Word. Welcome to the
welcome.
headquarters.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Is this your first time here?
This is my first time at headquarters.
Whoa. Wow, long time coming.
I know, it's exciting. It's really fun to walk around the warehouse. It just makes me feel like I can have climbing shoes for the next 55 years, you know?
I hope so.
Even longer, I mean.
Yeah, I hope so. I guess we can go into like a little bit about yourself. Like, who are you? What do you represent?
Yeah. I mean, what do you guys want to know?
Okay. I know. Okay. Funny thing, we did do our research, and I was so stoked to see you have like an archive on your website.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, why doesn't everybody do this? Like, it's so informational. And
Yeah.
like I get to see like what you've done, especially for like marketing reasons. So that was pretty cool. But you were a comp climber.
I was, yeah. So I basically, when I started climbing in 2002, I did my first competition 2 weeks after I started climbing. So I always say I was like born and bred as a competition climber. And then basically early 2023 hit, and I more or less switched entirely to outdoors. Not intentionally at the time,
Yeah.
but that's just kind of what ended up happening. So now I've got, you know, this big list of all these boulders I haven't done in Arizona and just everywhere else for that matter. And it's been a really cool journey. But yeah, I was a comp climber for like a billion years. So very well versed in that scene.
Whoa.
Did you like it? Okay. I like asking this question because I feel like being a child athlete is so crazy. It's just like an insane amount of pressure. So I do like asking people, like, did you actually like it?
I did. It's tricky because it's like I competed for so long that I went through just different stages of how I felt about it. So when I was young, I would be really stressed out when I was actually like on the wall. It was always like my first boulder. I'd feel like really shaky, and you know, then I'd be fine. And then if I like didn't do well or I didn't think I did well, I would be really upset for that day and like, you know, cry, you know, in the hotel room or just be upset. And then I was like over it the next day, whatever.
Yeah.
But then as I got older, it was like I would be so stressed out the week of competitions. Like up until I was actually like on the mats to compete, I was fine once I was on the mats.
Mm-hmm.
But in ISO, like I just felt like I was gonna like die. I was like so stressed out the entire time. And then it was interesting because going back to like when you don't do well as an adult, it ate at me more. Like I couldn't get over it as quickly. So it was just kind of like an interesting change to have happen.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. Maybe you just like realize more as you get older. But ultimately, like I enjoyed it. And there's no feeling like, I mean, obviously you get feelings like this climbing outside or even in the gym, but like everyone knows that feeling of success where you like, you won or you just did well, or maybe you did a boulder like where you almost timed out or did some crazy beta. And this can happen in the gym too. This can happen outdoors, but that's definitely the feeling that I love the most. Is just being like, dang, like that was so cool.
That's sick. Yeah, I know Allison, when she was here, she was telling us how there's nothing like topping a boulder and like the crowd cheering. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what that's like. That's crazy.
That's awesome.
It's cool. And I mean, I guess kind of like I was just saying, like it can happen on like the smaller scale in the gym. Like we've all been in the gym where someone, regardless of the grade, is just like grinding out on some boulder. And it's like all of a sudden everyone like gets into that mode where they get it and they're trying hard and like they're encouraging them. So yeah, it's just that feeling with more people clapping, I guess.
That feeling has stayed the same. I imagine you've kind of watched how competition climbing has changed over the years, but that feeling stayed the same?
Yeah, and I don't even know like what you'd call that feeling. It's just feeling cool is the best way I can describe it because it's not always when you're winning. Sometimes you could place last in the round, but you did a boulder and you're like, good for me. Like I did that well.
Sick.
There's probably a word for it.
Yeah.
And I wonder what it is.
Probably like, I feel dope right now.
Yeah. Triumph.
We'll put it right here.
Yeah.
If there's like, I don't know, there's like weird words for everything.
Euphoria.
That works. So, in your competition climbing career, who was, I mean, if you want to answer this, but who was like, you saw them on the roster and you were like, oh shit, like, I have to compete against them.
I mean, there are just so many good people is the thing, and it's always like changed over time, you know, kind of year to year. But I mean, there are a ton of people that, you know, one thing I've learned is do not discount anyone on the roster because, you know, in your head you might be like, okay, I think these are like the X amount of good people. It's like, I guarantee you there are more good people than you're thinking. But yeah, I learned to have like a very healthy respect for every competitor, and so it's interesting to see how things played out.
That's crazy because in other sports, there's always like an insane amount of rivalry versus in climbing, it's like everyone is so
respectful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of each other.
Yeah, and I'm glad it's like that. I mean, everyone wants to win. Like, it's not a secret, but I don't know. I think it's like way better to be positive, and it's like you don't need to hate your competitors, and you don't need to act like super excited if you beat them. I mean, be excited because you won, but you don't. It's a personal thing. It's not because you beat someone else.
Yeah, there's like no beef.
Yeah,
that's pretty sick. That's pretty sick. Well, if you had an embarrassing fail, tell us about it, or like
within competition.
Oh yeah.
Just in general.
Just like, okay.
Within competition climbing, like I feel like I would do something stupid. I feel like everybody does stupid things.
Oh, this is like such a good story. Everyone made fun of me about this at Nationals so badly one year, but it was in qualifiers, and basically when you top a boulder, at least these were the rules at the time, the judge is supposed to like hold up, I think it's like a white card, whatever, some colored card to like, and that's like the official signal. So I had done like whatever, my first boulder or my second boulder, topped them. Judge did like white card on one, didn't do it on the other, just gave me a thumbs up. And I was like, okay, whatever, I'd topped the boulder. So then I get on, I think it was the third boulder, I don't like remember exactly, but this is when they're doing like the 5, 10, 15, 25 scoring. And I got to hold 15, and I thought it was just like the finish. I had like a big brain fart. And I'm like, cool. And I turn around, I look at the judge, and I give him a thumbs up because I'm like, why isn't he giving me a thumbs up? I'm at the top. What's going on? If he gives me a thumbs up back, and I drop, and I go and get my scorecard, and they were like kind of looking at me, and they handed it to me, and I'm like, why does it say 25? And they were like, because you dropped off at the hold 15. And I was like, oh. And then I turn around, and I was like, oh my God. And even this just like adds to it. Like hold 15 was on a corner basically. Oh. And then on the other side of the corner was hold 25. Like I had to do one additional move to top it. And there's this picture of me turning around, big smile on my face. Like hold 15.
That's so sick. Well, it's not sick.
It's funny.
But it's funny. Do you have that photo?
Oh yeah, I have it. And I did send the boulder on my next attempt officially to be clear. But it was, I checked into ICE the next day and someone was like, you're gonna remember to like actually go to the finish hold, right? I was like, yes.
Damn. Yeah.
That's funny. Did you win that competition? No.
Oh.
Damn. It wasn't because of that.
No. Oh, okay. It was just like, I lost like 0.01.
Thankfully.
Okay.
You know, not doing it on my first attempt. So no big deal.
Wow.
That's something like, I feel like you just would you'll never forget now. Like,
no. And I had honestly made it so long without botching something like that. Like I've read beta wrong. I've like maybe not noticed a hold around a corner. Like that would have helped me on the boulder. But I've never just like not grabbed the finish hold. Like I've never thought I grabbed a different finish hold. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a very strange moment.
No, that did happen recently with Brooke in one of the World Cup competitions.
That's what I was just thinking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was smart and finished the boulder though and didn't drop.
That's so funny.
How many years were you competition climbing for?
I mean, I would say like 20 years.
You were on Team USA.
Yeah.
Right. Sick. How was that? What was that like? I mean, being on a team versus, I guess, like Team USA versus a different team or individual.
Yeah, I mean, so when I was doing the World Cups, for a decent amount of them, I was the only American there.
Oh.
So it's definitely different now than it was, you know, and I haven't been on the U.S. team for like quite a number of years, so I can't really speak to that. I can only, you know, speak when I was on the team, but sometimes other athletes were there. Sometimes we had a coach with us. Sometimes we didn't. But it was very much like, it was like, you know, self-funded and figuring out a lot on your own. But the cool thing is everyone is like very helpful. You know, the other teams, you kind of end up getting adopted by like whoever else is there by themselves or, you know, some of the other like photographers and things that travel with the circuit. So you're never really like that alone. But yeah, at least when I was doing it, wasn't like a huge Team USA environment.
Oh, okay. Speaking of self-funded and IFSC, Did you see that Alex Honnold commentary?
Oh, yeah, I loved it so much.
Oh, let's talk about that.
I thought he did such a good job. It was so entertaining. It was definitely my favorite broadcast as far as commentary goes ever.
Oh, dope. Yeah, his comment on basically, these comp climbers not getting paid enough.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was such a hot topic, and there's, I think, a lot of discourse on it. Like almost every climber that I followed reposted and had something to say about it. So it was like, I don't know, what are your takes on that?
Yeah, it's one of those things that's hard to give like one clear and concise comment on, because number one, I do not know how much money anyone has made in climbing other than myself.
Oh, okay.
So I don't have good insight into just, anyone else's financials, obviously. But, from what I can tell from the outside, there are people who like have a travel budget. So if you're going to a competition, whether it's through sponsors giving you travel budget or your federation's paying for it, you're going to a competition and it's not negative dollars in your pocket unless you win, right? And then there are other competitions you go to where, let's say you're self-funded or you don't have a specific travel budget, so it's still coming out of your like, yearly money you get from sponsors, or maybe you're working, a job outside of climbing. Let's say it costs you $2,000 to go to a competition and first place is $2,500. Well, if you win, you're at plus $500 for,
right,
however much training you did. And even if you break down the hourly rate for the weekend sometime, you're like, oh yeah, this isn't like crazy, pay when we take away the expenses. But yeah, I definitely, in general, obviously I'd love to see like everyone get paid more in climbing.
Yeah.
I think it's a great thing. But yeah, it's hard to comment on some of it because I don't know like everyone's finances. Basically, I don't want to make a stupid statement.
That's valid.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. I mean, how have you found like your, I guess, career in climbing? Has that been as you want it to be, as you expected it to be, or is it like you're constantly?
It's always changing. And I think, it's just always different. Like some years I've done a lot better, like climbing wise or sponsor wise, or it's just always changing. Like every year is like never the same. And there's not a crazy amount of consistently, at least in my climbing. Like sometimes you get a contract that's multiple years on the financial side. And, I'll say like, when I think about like how much money I'm going to make for the year, I'm like, I have guaranteed money. Sometimes you start out the year with like not a lot of guaranteed money.
That's crazy.
And yeah, it's really different because I remember when I was younger and before I kind of realized this, like people would talk about budgeting each month. And I was like, you make the same amount of money every month? Like, what's that like? I've never
crazy idea.
Yeah, other than like, guaranteed like money through contracts. And that's the other thing. Not all of your contracts pay out on the same timeline. So sometimes you get paid, like I got paid once a year for like a contract. That was an entire year. Or like some are once a month, some are once every 3 months, some are quarterly. And yeah, so even if you've got all of that figured out, it's like, well, some months you're making like way more money because a bunch of contracts just happen to line up and like hit paydays.
Wow.
And other times you're like, okay, I only have this one stipend coming in from like one company. So yeah, I don't think people give it credit enough to how like complex some of the finances are just being like a professional climber, at least in my case, speaking for myself. It's different than people realize, I think.
I don't know, I'll give it credit. That
seems hard to
so
balance.
Hard.
Yeah.
I think I've always been lucky enough that I've managed to, save what I could, and times where I've not been making as much money in climbing, I've been able to, weather the storm. But it definitely doesn't mean like I like it, I'm like sitting there, I'm like, okay, like we gotta figure this out soon.
At least you're doing what you love.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you went to school for marketing.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you felt that like has helped your career, or like at least your climbing career?
No, I mean, yeah, I was already doing like social media and everything starting in high school, and then anything I've really learned for my like climbing career, like anything I've done social media wise and promotion, that's all been like stuff I've just learned on the fly.
Wow.
Especially like in college, like I didn't have my first marketing class until I was a junior at ASU, and I think I maybe took 4 marketing classes in total to like have that be my degree. Like that's not a lot. and it's like a lot of the classes you take focus on, I don't know, not that it's not good to have like basic marketing knowledge, but it's not like the most up-to-date stuff when you get to it.
I see.
Yeah. Not applicable to how it is today.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not like mad I learned it, but it just wasn't like a direct correlation, I would say.
Yeah. Kenny has this reading, what is this? I don't have the book with me.
It's the Wizard of Oz. It's basic marketing
Wizard of Oz.
information.
Basic
nice.
marketing. I think we were talking about how some things are like outdated.
Yeah. Well, it's just like basic principles. And we were curious because a lot of athletes are just like pure athletes.
Yeah.
And you were probably the first one that we brought through to the headquarters that had that sort of background.
Yeah.
So it's really funny to hear that didn't really help.
Yeah. I think I expected it to be like, yeah, it was a little helpful, but I mean, it makes sense that you just learned everything just through practice. And
Yeah, I feel like that's honestly like the case with a lot of things too. Like, you know, I hear from other people like in their jobs, they're like, oh yeah, you know, even people who get certified and things, like my hair lady, she was telling me, she's like, yeah, you graduate beauty school and like you really still don't know all that much. My hair lady's words, not mine. Anyone who wants to dispute that, but she was like, that's why it's really important to work at a bigger salon where you can like continue learning, and then
yeah.
you know. But yeah, not the first time I've heard it with just different careers, I guess.
That makes sense. You don't really know your niche until you find it, you know?
Yeah, and some people don't even end up doing what they majored in. I mean,
Totally.
if you do go to college or anything
Yeah.
like that.
I majored in video game design,
Oh, nice.
and here we are.
When's the Metal Rock video game coming out?
We'll see.
Yeah.
To be decided
Yeah.
To be decided.
and developed.
to develop. I mean, so I would say like as a woman as well, like I feel like that has had an effect on your climbing career, maybe, possibly, if not. That's totally cool, but is there like any difference that you found your climbing career to have had versus like your male counterparts or peers?
I don't know. I mean, I've always been pretty isolated in Arizona, kind of doing my own thing. I definitely grew up in a very male-dominated environment in climbing, and that worked fine for me.
Okay.
I'm sure when I was young, there were things that went over my head, but, you know, I know there are definitely things that people struggle with in the community. I've been pretty insulated in Arizona from some of these things. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think when I started climbing, I just always looked at everyone like they were my friend. I was like 8 years old when I started.
Oh, yeah,
everyone
that's
climbs
great.
at the gym is my friend. And I think that just, you know, really carried through. And I will say now there are a lot more girls climbing in Arizona, which is cool. Like, you know, for the longest time, it was like if there was ever another girl when we went outside climbing for the weekend, I was like, oh, like, especially when I was younger, I was like, finally, like, another girl's here, like, you know, because the guys would just be talking about, like, whatever. I was, like, much younger. It probably wasn't stuff I should have necessarily, like, heard at the time or, you know, and I'd be, like, so excited any other girl was there. And now it's, like, pretty rare that I go out and, like, don't see another girl who's climbing.
That's so sick. I feel like kids are so beautiful in like seeing the world like that. Like everyone is your friend. I feel like sometimes, I guess, maybe the older you are in climbing, the easier it is. When you get into climbing, the easier it is to be not as stoked about, you know, potential like competition. There are men who I've encountered who's like barely got into climbing, and their egos are kind of like inflated, and it's like, no, you just started, like, it's gonna be cool, it's gonna be fine, you're gonna have a good time. And so when you're a kid, it's like you just see things totally differently.
Yeah, you have so many less limits when you're a kid. You know, and I mean, there's stuff that goes over your head when you're a kid, and that's kind of a good thing, I think, you know? It's like you're not worried about anything else other than kind of what's right in front of you and just enjoying it and maximizing it for yourself.
Oh.
You can turn the volume down on the phone.
Oh, I think it's done. Okay.
Someone else pick that up real quick.
Yeah.
Sure.
If you guys didn't already notice, we are in like our actual offices, obviously.
Yes.
It's giving tiny desk vibes, I hope. But anyways, so I mean, as a woman on the internet, has that been a little bit different?
Yeah, I mean, I can only speak to obviously what's happened to me, which I try and do on like any subject. I'm only talking about what's happened to me. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've received a lot of support. I've received a lot of criticism, and of course, just a lot of gross guys in my messages. So yeah, it's been an interesting journey.
A little birdie told me that you had a secret Instagram. I could be wrong.
Oh no, I'm just
That you would reveal people's messages.
Oh yeah, Chaucy DM. So it was me it was me and a couple other like female pros, and it was messages that got sent to us. We would repost them, take out people's information because Instagram doesn't like it if someone sends you a nasty message or an inappropriate message and you leave that person's information. So we'd always just cut it, which people didn't like. They were like, you should name and shame them. And I'm like, okay, well, I agree. However,
We can't.
we can't. So yeah, that account was up and then it got taken down for whatever reason. And then we tried to do it again and it got taken down again. So,
Wow.
But yeah, it was, and okay, also what I forgot to say is other people were submitting messages. So lots of girls. And we actually did get some messages from men as well, like creepy things people had sent.
Oh,
in.
really?
And, yeah.
Wow. There's just a lot of creeps out there.
Oh my God, the internet's full of them. It's
Oh, yeah.
the amount of weird guys that come in my DMs and have like in their picture their wife or girlfriend with them. It's like 90% of the time it's someone who has a wife or girlfriend in the picture.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Out in the open, just like that. Oh my God.
Right? Not that it makes it any better if you aren't in a relationship to write these creepy things.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Typically, there's like an anonymity to it, but if you're putting your whole family in that DM, dude, gross.
No shame. Absolutely no shame. Wow. People have no shame. That's crazy. I mean, is that account still up or is it?
No,
down?
the accounts got taken down by Instagram.
Wow. When was that?
I think it was in 2019 we did it, so it's been quite a few years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What would you say is like the craziest DM you received?
Someone sent me a story once. I don't know if this is appropriate to talk about on here, but basically like...
I can bleep this out.
Yeah, you guys can
Yeah.
tell me if it's appropriate or not, but they sent me a story they wrote that was erotic literature, which included me as a character
Whoa.
and involved climbing, and I was just aghast.
Wait, that's...
I'm sorry.
You were in a fanfic. That's crazy.
I know, I was like, oh my gosh.
Was it like good writing or was it like just bad writing?
I was just melting into the floor. Okay, so I can't say, but
I would cringe so hard if somebody like
I just also sending something. I mean, obviously we like see this with like inappropriate pictures all the time, but like when someone's not like in it, like just imagine like randomly just messaging someone online and being like, I wrote this inappropriate story about you. It's so weird.
I don't
Woof,
know.
dude.
I don't know what they think, what kind of reaction they're gonna get from you, but that's nuts.
Yeah,
That is nuts. Thanks for sharing.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Oh my God.
If this makes it into the podcast, no one send me any more stories.
Yeah.
Please,
No.
Yeah, we're closed down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That account is deactivated.
Well, I mean, speaking of stories, not stories, more like an article. Did you ever read the most recent, I believe it was on the New York Times article, Climbing is a Dangerous Place for Women?
I did not read it.
Okay. Yeah, there was a paywall as well. Well, I wanted to discuss that, but if you didn't read it, that's totally fine.
You can give me the synopsis if you want to still discuss it, or we can, whatever works.
I mean, essentially, this how it goes is, there was a Sherpa that has some accusations against him,
Okay.
and in a time and place where people are supposed to be helping you the most. Granted, there is like a lot of controversy around Sherpas themselves, but about having Sherpas on Everest. But I mean, then somebody, decides to take advantage of you. Like that's such a scary, place to be in.
How unnerving is that?
It's nuts. And then like the most recent, like, I can bleep this out maybe, but Charlie Barrett
Yeah.
sentencing was like nuts too. I don't know. It's just like, dangerous. I mean,
A lot of,
climbing
like,
can be dangerous.
Deplorable things that happen.
Yeah. it can be a dangerous place, like with people that you think you trust. So
Yeah, I mean, and that's the unfortunate reality. I completely agree with that. Like on a personal level, I've been very careful, like who I climb outside with.
oh
You know, especially just because it's like so isolated, and I really try and think about like, would I be like comfortable being around this person outside where we like don't have cell service? And you know, it's impossible to fully vet people though. Unfortunately, and it
Yeah.
shouldn't be on you, who's just like being a normal person, to have to vet people.
yeah,
But yeah, I guess I'm just trying to make the point of it's like something I'm like conscious about, because I know that things can happen that you don't expect. And so, yeah, I mean, my heart just like, it goes out to anyone who's experienced anything like that, because it's like, number one, you don't think it's going to happen to you. And number two, and then it's like it does, and it's people don't always believe you, and people go against you, and it's just talk about like the world's most awful position to be in.
yeah. That's, you know, I actually don't vet people. That might be a good thing. But most of the people I climb with are great people. Andrew's a great person.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Sometimes my vetting is like, okay, well, one of my like good friends I climb with a bunch, he's gonna be out there too with us, and so I'm like, okay, well, we've got like a buffer, and you know.
Yeah.
But if I'm climbing outside alone with someone, it means that I think they're, you know,
Yeah, that's
decent enough.
that is something to think about. Wow, I wonder if any other people vet people, because I mean,
Sure.
do you vet?
I do not in probably this exact type scenario, but I at one point stopped climbing with just random people at the gym for rope climbing, because this was somebody I was teaching how to rope climb, and they almost dropped me on top rope, and I'm like, that the only way to do that is to just let the hell go. You just let go.
That's crazy.
And I was like, all right, I'm not doing this again with someone I don't trust.
Yeah, I mean,
Dangerous.
that's a whole other thing to think
That's
about.
a whole
You know,
other
like,
thing, yeah.
Yeah,
it's tough. Be careful who you climb with. That's
Absolutely.
an unfortunate, necessary message.
yeah. I mean, not only are you climbing outdoors, but you're also climbing indoors, and you are huge Moonboard fanatic.
Yes, I am.
We were talking, me and Andrew, and we were like, what do you mean by Moonboard nerd? Like,
I don't know. Once you become a moonboarder, like you're a moonboarder, that's all I can say. Like, I don't know. It's just a thing. You'll have a hard time prying us away from the board. You just become like the moonboard person.
That's awesome. Do you know like random moonboard facts?
I mean, not really.
Yeah.
You know, you hear some other people talk about the moonboard, and they can like reference, you know, holds and boulders like much more readily than I can. But
yeah, people are like A5 or like
yeah,
H6.
It's like playing chess
Yeah.
on the board.
yeah, I don't know. Like, I definitely can log moves in my mind when I do them. Like, if I look at the board, I can basically feel how almost every move is going to go at this point. That I'm done, you know. But there are other people who they can just be sitting, not looking at the app or anything, and they're like, can tell you anything about any boulder. I'm not one of those people.
Dang. Will you soon become one of those people? Or you?
I don't know. I'm not
Trying.
against it. I mean, for as much as I'm on the moonboard, you'd think I would like remember hole positions better, but
Dang, that's crazy.
This most recent moonboard set, would this be your favorite?
the 2024.
Yeah.
I haven't climbed on it yet.
Really?
What
Yeah.
the?
Whoa.
I know.
That's surprising.
I'm waiting. Yeah.
Damn. We have a couple gyms in LA that
Okay.
have them.
We do. Yeah.
So we can make it happen.
Yeah, you guys are tempting me right now. I'm
We
trying
could-
to save
we could
my
move
skin for
this
tramway
set.
tomorrow. Yeah.
Who has the closest 2024 moon?
Probably be close in LA.
Cliffs of it.
Yeah.
Have you been to Cliffs before?
Yeah, a long time ago.
They have like a mini boardroom. It's kind of sick.
So
yeah.
nice.
So there's that option if you if you ever wanted to.
Yeah. Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah. But I think we're done here, but we have one more segment.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
It's 2v1.
2v1.
Not to
Okay.
throw this on you so fast, but essentially we're going to see who can do the most pull-ups in a minute.
Oh my god.
I
I have to
can't.
go to tramway tomorrow, guys.
I can't hang. We were gonna do like who can hang board for the longest.
Yeah.
But I'm injured, so
Okay.
we're going to do it this way because you're the pro. We are not pros.
We're schmucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Just average people.
So it's going to be our combined
Oh god.
pull-ups versus yours. There is no prize. It's bragging rights. So, it would be such a hassle to kind of like keep this rolling as I take the camera off the tripod. So we're gonna pause it. We're gonna cut, and you guys will see us in the boardroom with the hangboard. So yeah, sick.
Sweet.
Yeah. That's not climbing it.
Okay, tell us what we're doing.
We are going to see who can hang one arm on the jug the longest. Me and Luna versus Sierra.
Yep. We were gonna do pull-ups, but I was like, guys, I have to go climb a tramway tomorrow, and
Big day
my arm's
tramway.
too tired, so
Yeah,
that's why I went out on the pull-ups.
a little change of plans.
Yeah, so we're gonna tire one arm out instead of both.
Exactly.
All right.
I think we should go first, and then you should go first last.
Yeah. We
Yeah,
can
let's
do
do that. I'll time you.
All right,
that. Okay.
chalk. So we're on the same plane.
I can go grab my chalk bag.
Sure.
All right.
Ready?
Okay.
All right, give me a countdown.
Oh, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh,
Huh.
you're doing well. I feel like you could do this for a long time.
I feel like I got this in the bag actually.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see. It is starting to get shaky.
All right. Yeah, you got 34 seconds. Just a bunch of waiting.
Dude, the longer you hang, the longer I have to hang.
Yes, come on, Andrew. Oh, sick. That was about 54 seconds.
Wow.
Dang, dude, nice work.
Keep that number on you.
54.
Yeah, and then roll.
She's spinning. Come on, Luna.
My calluses. This hurts actually.
Nice. That was 19.
Okay, I'll take it.
54 plus 19.
Oh boy. What is that?
Wait, let me do some math because I can't do it in my head.
54 plus 19.
3.
Boom.
Wait, that's wrong. 73.
73. Yes.
So a minute 13.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. You got it.
Okay. It's hard to do without like knowing the time. Okay. All right. I'll do a countdown. Okay, that works good. All right.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
All right. In the zone. 73 seconds to beat.
The spin is like out of control.
The spin is real.
I feel like I'm just like spinning away from you.
You'll fully rotate by the
Yeah.
end.
How am I doing?
You're doing well. You got it. You can get there.
Wait, how many seconds?
You're almost at a minute.
Let's go.
Like swimming in it. Okay.
What do we got? Drum roll.
Okay. 1 minute and 8 seconds.
Ooh.
Whoa.
rough
73? I think you won. No,
break. Good job,
wait.
team. No.
By like 5 seconds.
Almost.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thanks.
this was
Boom.
Yapo Sit Down, Start Talking Pod with Sierra Blair as our special guest. Thanks for watching. Alrighty. See you guys next time.